Hello everyone, it's the Peregrine here and welcome to my guide on hybrids in Mordhau. I've been maining a hybrid class for a while now and have experience with something similar as a shortbow archer in Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Now, many archers in this game will have a melee option of some description, however it will usually be weaker compared to their ranged options, which makes them lean more towards a pure archer setup. This is similar to how a melee setup will have good close range weapons and armour, and only throwables for ranged. For this guide, my personal definition of a hybrid setup is one with decent ranged and melee weapons while sacrificing good armour or perks. Now personally I main a light hybrid, which features light armour on the head and body, alongside the ranger perk, which is basically complements the added mobility I'll have because my armour is so light. For the head armour, I use a hood personally, although any level 1 armour will do of course, it's all personally aesthetic purposes, as long as you have something to protect your head from being one shot by most of the melee weapons or even the ranged weapons, then that's fine. For leather armour, same thing is true, level 1 armour. I personally use leather armour myself, but the body is a very common place to get hit at by both melee and range, so it's best to have something for that. I don't have anything for the legs of course, because you're not likely to get hit there. For ranged I use a recurve bow. You can also use the crossbow if you wish, and basically the crossbow allows for, it's basically an easier ranged weapon to get kills with at the moment, but I don't know if that will change at some point in the future. It probably will, but yeah, if you want to go for that you can. For the melee weapons I usually go for something which costs 5 points at least. I'm personally main the longsword, but you can also use the messer and battle axe with this setup. Yeah, you can go for higher levels if you want, higher level melee weapons if you want, but you will have to sacrifice armor or the perk if you've got my armor and perk set up the same way I have. You can also go for a lower level melee weapon if you wish and get more points than either your armor or perks. But yeah, now we'll move on to some gameplay. So by themselves, hybrids are reasonable in a melee fight. Defensively they should be about as good as any other melee setup. You will see that in many of these duel clips I'm able to take my opponents down in 2 or 3 hits, most of which have at least medium armour covering them. Since I'm using a long two-handed weapon, I can take advantage of the reach, ensuring that my opponent will be less likely to back away from my strike using footwork. That being said, it is important to realise that you are still more vulnerable compared to a pure melee setup, since you can take less hits, therefore you are forced to make less mistakes. It is better to work effectively with your team and chip away the enemy team's health at range, rather than rely solely on your own melee. While most melee weapons won't be able to one-hit you even if they aim for the head, there are many ranged weapons in the game at the moment that will one-hit the body if you are only using light armour. This may hopefully be subject to change in the near future, but for now you'll have to be quite good at either avoiding or blocking projectiles. If you aren't comfortable with your projectile evasion, however, you can opt for medium armour on the chest to make you more of a tank-like hybrid, able to survive a powerful ranged hit to the body at the expense of perks. Again, in a one-on-one scenario, it is best to chip off the enemy health at range on melee fighters before moving into melee yourself. But for archers, it is of course best to keep using your ranged weapon to kill them. Since you need to be decently skilled in both melee and ranged in order to play a hybrid effectively, you need to schedule a good routine on when to train each set type of skills and for how long. If you mained archer before in Chivalry, you may want to consider training every day for 1 or 2 hours in a duel server, like what I'm doing in these clips. Since I specialise more in ranged, I personally spend considerably more time working on my aiming skills, but you can choose for yourself which area you wish to be more skilled in. Just make sure you aren't a liability in any one area so you can use your class to its full potential. Now onto some hybrid gameplay. I avoid the archer's arrow here and proceed to engage him in melee range. I didn't switch to range myself because of course I was too close. He could have easily shot me at that range, so I proceeded to just move in on him. So yeah, just once I've finished him off, I then proceed to advance down here and try to take out the weakened knight. I then cripple the knight's health here a little bit, sandwich him, and then see that they're a bit heavily populated in the enemy base, so I just simply put arrows down there. It's important to variate as the situation requires you to. So down here, I cripple this guy's health yet again with a headshot. I'm going to finish him off with melee. I can finish off that guy so he falls down. Sandwich him between him and my teammate. Then move down here. I see there's two archers, so I decide to engage them. They're out of reach, so I can't really reach them in melee range, and neither can my teammates, so I decide to help my teammates out in taking out the archers. After dispatching of the two archers, I then proceed to finish off the melee in range 2. One good benefit of using the recurve bow is something I like to call quick shotting. This is where you have an arrow ready in your bow while sprinting and shoot your targets as quickly as possible, or sprinting again after readying another arrow. This is useful for maintaining high mobility and can be quite important against longbowmen and crossbowmen. It also allows you to act more offensively, dealing range damage while running into melee range, as well as helping kill opponents that are pulled back. This does slow down your fire rate, however, so use this primarily when there are long-range archers around. Or when you want to rush in dealing quick range damage before moving into melee to aid your teammates in finishing them off. As a hybrid, you possess the best of both worlds when it comes to combat. Not only are you deadly at great distances, but you are also formidable at close range with your large damage-dealing melee weapons. Your lack of armour will make you somewhat of a glass cannon, however, and you must be more careful than others with the damage you take. You must use both melee and range when it makes sense, and when it will best support your team. If you follow these tips, you should be well on your way to being a good hybrid player.
Ha 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 ha!